Only a couple months now. I think I recognize her.
Welcome to The Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee. And today I am in conversation with a Baltimore-based digital artist whose work focuses on color. Please welcome Darren Thompson Jr. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. You got to make sure you get the junior part. I'm a junior as well, so you got to make that delineation. Like, that's Big Rob. This is Rob Jr. That's Big Darren. This is Darren Jr.
Yeah, I know. It's that people know. I know my father, but he'd be like, I want to put senior at the end of my name so we won't get our mail mixed up.
Always. It's one of those things. Like, I still get some of my dad's mail sent to his place. I'm like, yo, bro, that's not yours. That's mine. So before we get too deep into the conversation, this is always a mixed bag sort of question, but I want to open it up by having you share your story a little bit, share the Darren Thompson Jr. story. Some people don't like talking about themselves, but some people like to talk about themselves a little too much, which is why it's a mixed bag sort of question. But tell us a bit about your story, and I have some bullet points in there, but just give us the kind of introductory thing about your story.
Can I start like childhood and stuff like that?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I come from like a creative family. Like my uncles on my mother's side, they would do art growing up. My uncle, he would do he did like a wood carving, like a fish. He was doing that. They'd be like, they make like little bubble gum men, like growing up doing that. And my father, he growing up, he would make like Star Trek ships out of wood. He made out of cardboard, put the lights in there and everything. He's doing that now with his 3D work, making Star Trek ships, make different ships. It's really cool putting lights in it. It's great. And with me growing up, I used to make Pokemon.
Yeah.
I got a masking tape. It's like the Pokemon that I didn't see in stores. I would make them out of masking tape, or packaging tape, make them like that.
Yeah. I
would draw the Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that. Even I remember elementary school, like second grade, I would make like little picture books. Mm-hmm. I would draw the little pictures on the paper, and I'd get cardboard and make like the covers for the book. I remember being one of the principals. They called me up front. He called me to the office, show my book to the principal. She was like, "Oh, that's really nice." Yeah. I wish I still had that stuff.
Yeah, we all have that thing. I think like I remember I did a comic when I was younger at Hollandtown. So to really put a fine point on where it was at, right? And I remember I was making money because I was in there to run X-Men for people. And I did my own comic. And I was one of those guys that would rush through my tests, take that B, because I knew I was like, gifted enough that I can kind of like not pay attention and still get like a pretty decent grade.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember one of my teachers, she walked by, saw that I wasn't doing my test and I'd already finished it. She took my drawing away, and I had like a really good drawing. She took it away and threw it away. I was so tight. So there was one time where I was working on this comic, and she walked by and she was like, "Oh, you really are talented in this area." And I'm like, "Yo, don't touch my comic. We're gonna have some smoke." And she was like, No, I want to take you to the principal. I was like, "Yo, am I in trouble for this? Like I did the thing." And she was like, no, we want to really like get this laminated so you can keep it protected and preserve it and all of that. And that was one of those kind of like early instances. Was that kind of similar for you in that regard?
Yeah, it was like the first time like someone outside my family seeing my work. Mm-hmm. What did I do? And it was like, it felt good. Yeah, just having that as you say, validation, even if at that age, just felt good just having it. Someone recognizing your work at an early age like that. Yeah,
100%. So you starting off with, coming from an artistic family and starting off with some of the DIY stuff, because, you kind of make art with what you have available, the time that you have available, and the resources that you have available. What would you say was that point where you became interested in digital art?
I would say that point came my freshman year in college. Because like in middle school and high school, I kind of lost interest in art because it felt like I was just drawing. I didn't feel like I was being challenged with like the assignments in the class. Yeah, I was just drawing, and I can draw, but not draw like other people. I guess comparing myself to other people, that's not good anyway. But I kind of lost interest during middle school and high school, and then just the freshman year in college, I took this course. It was like a digital computer course, and I did this drawing of the Ravens. I had like the Raven bird on the field, end zone and stuff like that. I like doing that, and after doing that, I realized I wanted to, because I was undecided coming into college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Right. And I took that course. I'm like, man, I'm interested in graphic design, so I was trying to be in the graphic design field. Yeah, that was a major. Yeah.
So going into that kind of early stage where you're like, all right, I'm kind of coming back to this. Like, again, what are those things where it's especially, at least for me, I can say there's no money in art, so it's like less interest in doing it. And then you have just different things to kind of take your love away from it. And when you were younger, maybe it was like, I'm just here to draw and express myself or whatever. But when other people start getting in there, you get this comparison, you get this kind of like seeking validation sort of thing. And then you want to buy things and you want to do things that, that art kind of gets in the way of, I guess. And that was what kind of hindered it for me. But ultimately, I kind of returned to it in a different way. Is that fair for you?
I would say so. I would say growing up, it wasn't like I knew anybody was making money from art. So I think that probably was what deterred me away from doing art as well. Yeah. And just seeing my friend, his name is Jordan Lawson. He go by Art by J Law. He's doing big things in the city as well. Yeah. We graduated at the same time at Towson University, and seeing him pursue his entrepreneurship gave me like the courage to jump out as well. So I was kind of like, he was doing his thing, I was kind of like following behind him, like just being inspired by him. Yeah. And that was really the first step, was me really doing my professional art after graduating Towson.
So what would you say, are some of the the skills that you find to be an asset as you progress and just go down this path of being a digital artist, or being an artist overall in a macro sense? But what are some of those skills that are, unique to you, that you would say, like, this is an asset about me, Darren, that makes me really good at digital art?
I would say my creativity and my vision. I would say vision figuratively and literally as well. Like recently, like now with my abstract art, like I see, like we could be walking down the street, I might see like a crack on the sidewalk. Yeah. I take a picture of it. I don't see it right now what I'm gonna do with it, but I know I can make some art out of it. And that's what I mean by vision.
Gotcha.
Seeing it literally and knowing in my mind, like, hey, I can make this work. I don't know where it's going at, but it's gonna be some art.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, here that I kind of struggle with at times. And you talk to people and you share what your vision is, what your goal is. And are you one of these thinkers? You're kind of the finished product sort of person, or are you more interested in intermediary steps, the sort of process in making that final project or product, rather?
I would say the intermediate, like taking the steps through that process and get to the end goal. I like the I like to have, I didn't say have fun, not the destination, to have fun with the journey. So I like the journey and get into that process, because most of the time I really have a set piece I have in mind, like the finished project. A lot of times just putting photos together and it comes out the way it comes out.
No, I dig it. And I think a lot of people are a mix of both, of being able to, have an intention. Like, I know that I'm going to make, like when I was talking to you early on, like, I know that at the end result of doing this, there's going to be a polished 30 to 40 minute podcast that comes out of this conversation. And what we get in the middle is like, I don't know what you're going to answer. I don't know what I'm going to ask to a certain degree. I have some questions, but there's some deviation from it. So it's like, that's the interesting part of seeing, like, all right, how close was this to the questions or the way that I shaped this in my head, that vision that I had? But the end product that's what the thing that I'm so interested in, because it's like, all right, I want to see how this conversation with Darren is going to go. I want to see how that fits into the larger body of work to really put a fine point on it. So yeah, that's the way that I'm thinking about it. But not everybody has vision. You know what I mean? And I like how you described it earlier. It's not just, me using my eyes, but me having this sense of this is what this can become. This is the possibilities that are here.
Yeah. Yeah. Just that creativity and imagination, just having it inside you, just saying, hey, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's going to turn out something good.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, sometimes there's certain things that are those other like sort of arts, like people always kind of forget culinary arts, right? And it's like, all right, how's this cake going to turn out? You know what I mean? It's like you got to do the mixing, you got to do all the baking and all of that stuff that goes into making that finished product. But at the end of the day, it's just like, all right, I guess I'm making a cake.
I do the same thing. I bake and cook too, so I know the process. Is experiment with different ingredients, spices, everything. But
there are certain things in that whole process that you better have the right amount of baking powder or whatever in it, because it won't be a cake. It'll be something. It won't be a cake. No. So tell me how you since you're a process guy, tell me about how you organize, plan, and prioritize your work. Like, let's say that you're going to take on a new project that's coming out, and you're going to work on an abstract piece. Run down that process for us. How do you organize, plan, and prioritize taking on a new project?
Let's see, how I plan. I really don't have a plan, to be honest with you.
Fair.
It depends. Whatever I see, I just turn in art. Like I described earlier, I see a crack, like one piece. Well, like the piece. Can you see behind me?
You don't have your camera on. I can't see.
Oh, okay. Like I have a piece. It was hand sanitizer, so I just took a picture. I was filling up the hand sanitizer in the bottle.
Yeah.
So I saw the shapes, the bubbles in the bottle, and I just took a picture of it. And I was able to just mess around with the color, and it made it like into when people see it, they think it's a painting. Okay. Yeah. And it was really just the picture of the hand sanitizer. Every time I tell them, be like, "That's hand sanitizer, really?"
So I want to ask about this. Like, what is it about color that really kind of captures your imagination and that sort of thing? Like, it's always interesting to talk to people who denote color as being really important to their work. You hear conversations about color theory, hues and shades and all of that different stuff. Tell me about like why color is such an important and integral part of your work.
I would say color is important because with all my pieces, I like to have vibrant colors. Vibrancy is a big part of my work. I feel like it attracts people, and recently I found it attracts kids as well. As my first pop-up last year, my friend Tristan, she has alopecia pop-up event for her company, and she had me there. Yeah. And my first pop-up, I'm nervous. I'm trying to get everything together, and kids. So mostly I've been making my work just with abstract. I think just adults want to see it. So kids running to the table, looking at the pieces, looking at the colors I got on the table. And I'm like, what? Kids like my work? Like, man. It was just great to see just little kids just coming by, just seeing the colors, being attracted by the color, being gravitated by the colors, just picking up different stickers and different designs I have, and just seeing kids being inspired by my work. It was great to see. So I feel like color just gravitates different people, kids from all ages. Yeah. So that's why I like to make sure I pride myself, make sure everything, all my colors vibrant, different colors, different vibrancy within my color. I just love to do it.
What color, like if there were, let's make it difficult, right? Okay. Let's say if there's only two colors that you can work in for like the rest of your time as an artist, right? What would those two colors be?
I had to be biased. Blue, my favorite color. I would say blue and pop and gold. I say blue and gold.
Okay. I'm here for it. Those are Rams colors. I'm here for it though.
Oh, you a Rams fan?
I'm not, but
Oh,
Ravens fan. I'm just peeping the colors.
Same here, Rams fan.
That's like greatest show on turf, like Rams, though. I'm thinking. So when you experience color like in like IRL, right? When you're not like working, when you're just like navigating, let's say you're gonna go to get a sandwich or something, right? And is there like a pop of color that like hits you and you're like, all right, that makes me have this feeling? Or you see someone maybe at like a bar, or you see someone maybe at a ball game or something along those lines. You're like, that color that they're wearing, they have this energy. I remember, years ago, they would talk about certain people wearing certain colors to denote victory, or a basketball team, they might wear their all black jerseys because they're in bully mode. So tell me about like that, like when it relates to your art, having so much of a focus on color, when you're seeing color in like other ways, does it like, that's what they're wearing that for? Tell me about that.
It's funny you said the all black because the Ravens had the all black yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, just you see certain people with certain colors, it just tell you what they feeling. Mm-hmm. They move. You might see people all black. They might be in a somber mood, or it could be an intimidating mood. Like, hey, get out my way. Blue, blue, blue normally like cool colors, so maybe it might be feeling chill that day. Red, red that might be a little intimidating, might be a little sexy, depending on the woman.
I always think about my background early on was in marketing, right? And I always think about like the Pantone colors. You start looking at any of the fast food restaurants, they want to invite you in, right? And I like that you mentioned that of, let's say a woman might have red lipstick on or have you. That might be something to the note that she's feeling a certain way or has a certain vibe, what have you. Or someone is wearing like a red suit, like you wear it on Valentine's Day, and you kind of getting that certain attention. And I think food, like restaurants, most of them have either something on that warmer side in it. It's usually a red, might be a yellow, might be an orange, because they want you to come in. They're not going to do blue. They don't want you feeling sad. They don't want you feeling a little somber. They want you to be like, come on in. So, that's one of the things I always go back to. And a lot of that stuff is intentional and from a design standpoint.
Yeah, it's true. Like you said with the rig, I remember seeing from marketing perspective, it was saying red attracts, the color attracts, and I just feel that same way with my colors. With certain colors, people attract to. Like it was a piece, like I had a show at the Found Studio on Friday, open reception, and one of my coworkers came by, and she was like, she really was looking at that. I have like a candle piece. It's red, and it's like you see the flame on top, but it's red. Yeah. And she was really attracted to that piece. Like I had on a metal frame too, so it was shining and everything. Yeah. It looked good. She was really attracted to that. Yeah. And it had a gummy bear piece too, like picture of gummy bears and different colors on that, and just the way the colors were looking. She was attracted to that too. So just certain colors just attract people's vision to it. Yeah,
yeah, and and I think even with the way that it represents, like, it's funny. Like when I think of red, right? You think of like bullfighters. Red, it's coming at you. Yeah. But here, generally, if you're driving, red is stop. So it's funny that it kind of like the different meanings, they could be the opposite in some regards.
Yeah, it could be the different tones, different.
Yeah.
The shade of red. Make you track and make you stop.
Yeah. I know we all run into this when we're creating something. Perfectionism, right? Like I always joke about when I first started podcasting, like I'm coming up on 14 years in podcasting, and early on when I was doing like all the editing and all of that stuff, I was really going through fine tooth comb, like, all right, where's that at? I need to trim that out, or where's that space? I need to trim that. Tell me about like creative perfectionism for you. Like, how does that impact your work?
It's funny you say that because I was doing the same thing. I would like make a video with I would make coasters. Mm-hmm. So I would make a video about that. I was trying, and I would make sure everything the music would line up perfectly with me putting the cup on a coaster.
Yeah.
So I know just as an artist or any profession, well, you doing art as well, is you want to make sure everything is up to your standards
Sure.
and up to other people's standards too. And I feel that with my work as well. I want to make sure everything is, the resolution is right for the printing,
Yeah.
and just make sure it's just right for people to view.
So when you're doing digital, like for someone that doesn't get like the idea of like digital art, like break that down for them really quickly. Like, like how would you describe it? Like, how would you describe like what you do? Because like I have a sense of it, but obviously I've been researching all day. But for someone that doesn't get it, really give them a rundown of what you're doing. Because you talked about your recent show, so talk about this.
My most recent show, it's at Found Studio, Puffer Road in Northeast Baltimore.
Yeah,
and it's like a coffee shop / restaurant, and just having my art there. Just the show just have different like combination of everything I did, like my digital art, digital paintings, some of my Sportimals geographic. It's like I take animals and put them with different sports equipment.
Yeah.
For different sports, like I have like a jellyfish football, a kite manta ray,
yeah,
dolphin, baseball dolphin, stuff like that. And with my Raven, I had Raven stuff, Raven Orioles, digital paintings, and mostly with my abstract work.
Yeah.
A lot of different colors I made, and just telling people what the picture actually is, and just seeing their reaction is crazy. Like one piece I have is it's yellow, it's like it's blue and like pink in it.
Yeah.
And I was telling him it was he'd be like, well, I asked him like, you know what that is? Like, no, tell me. I said, it's the inside. While I was drinking water, took the inside of a bottle. I took the picture inside the bottle, and it's because of the different shapes.
Yeah.
And I had like a lemon. I combined it with a lemon, a cut lemon.
Yeah.
And I was able to make that piece. And they'd be like, "Wow, you did that."
And I dig it. Like, I'm thinking of, so that's the one you're talking about behind you. That's the, if it was a different color, it's like, is that the Dirty Sprite album cover? Like, what is it? That's what I was thinking. I was like, that was purple, like sun. Like, what? Like, yo, just got this codeine now. I'm taking this picture of real quick. I dig it.
Thank you.
So hard work and talent is one of those things that, people talk about, they do, and all of that stuff. And it's, we like to get really to that base level. We like to really get to the bone. Let's look under the hood. Tell us about like those opportunities, like maybe chance encounters or luck that's helped you in your career, in art, because, people kind of leave those details out. It's like, yeah, I worked really hard and then I made it. And people leave out those opportunities where, somebody invited me to do their show with them. Someone, made sure I was able to get my my art handled, if you will, and transferred back and forth and so on. And they knew I was broke and they were able to help me out. Tell me about like an opportunity or those instances where there was a chance encounter or luck that's really been valuable for you as a creative.
Oh man, I had to go back to that pop-up, my first pop-up.
Yeah.
My friend Tristan, I worked with her mother at Giant Food.
Yeah.
And just having the opportunity, because I was at the time, I didn't really have that money at the time, and it was free. I just had to come in and just set up my work, and it was just a blessing at the time with me, and I was able to make a good amount of money. Just the first time at a pop-up event, I just had little different things, stickers, magnets, little canvases, and just having the opportunity to showcase my work to other people, just get myself out there and get, had like a little note. I had like a clipboard with my sign up for my email list.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I would get people for that. So that was just a great opportunity and a blessing, just being able to have that opportunity to share my work with other people. Her family were very supportive, and it was just a great time, great vibe, great everything.
That's great. And I think more people need to share those things when it's like, build out that network, have that mailing list and so on. Because we get really like protective of sharing what goes into what we're doing. You're not giving away, state secrets. I try to tell people on occasion, if someone's like, hey, how do I do this when it comes to like audio techniques or putting together a show, you share it. At the end of the day, the magic comes from you. You have your perspective and what you may find as something interesting to make into art. Whereas, I'm the person that's going to pick who I think is interesting to talk to and what angle to take. But how to get to those things as a person, you got to do it for love of the game. And so I like that you shared that. Thank you.
It's just, like you said, people put you on, you got to put people on as well.
100%.
You got to share what you know, and whatever you learn, you share it. That's what I want to do. Like when I finally get to the point I want to get to, I want to be able to share to other people as well.
Yeah.
Can I share another example?
Please.
I had another festival like last month, the Ricerstown Festival, and the lady next to me in the booth, we like right next to each other. She was telling me like, vendors, they don't, like, far as not like vendors don't talk to each other, they don't share secrets, like helping each other out, trying to like get the sales, like everybody for themselves.
Yeah.
So we kind of formed like a little connection. I was telling her like events coming up and how to do things, just hang in there. It's slow right now, but it's probably gonna pick up a little later on. Just be able to be that anchor for somebody, just be able to teach them. Even though I haven't been at many shows, but I've got a little bit of experience just helping somebody else out. That's what it's all about, just being there for each other.
Yeah. And, I've told people before, it's like, yo, if someone hits me up and like, hey, I'm looking for, like, just the other day, one of my buddies was looking for a photographer, and he was like, I know photographers, so I'm reaching out to you. And, other photographers I know, I'm going to take certain things in consideration. Who have I talked to recently? Who do I know that does good work and so on? But it's not like, oh, yeah, just get on, some website and look at photographers. It's like, no, I'm going to like make an introduction. I'm going to do that sort of connection. And, maybe that comes back to me in some way of someone's looking for an MC. Someone's got a grant out there. You can't see everything. You know what I mean? So being able to communicate within your community, whether that's community as in location or community as in disciplines and such, that's integral. That's powerful stuff.
It is.
So I got one last real question for you, and then I got those rapid fire questions for you. So on the converse, right, we're talking about like those opportunities where, people kind of helped out and there was a chance encounter, luck, things of that nature. Tell me about an experience that really, really sucked, like for you as a creative, and like that may have been painful, may have been just a rough experience, but ultimately without that experience, you wouldn't be where you're at. Something that gave that kind of calcification, that kind of scar tissue that kind of got you over the hump and made you, a better creative or a better person when it comes to the rigors of being an artist. Tell me about that.
I would say back in college, like we had a screen to get in graphic design major.
Yeah.
So it's a hard process. Like you have to make sure everything perfect. Got to make sure like we had to put out stuff on like mat boards, make sure everything was cut perfect, everything, the whole nine, and make sure our work was good and everything. And I didn't get accepted to the graphic design program, so that kind of hurt at the time.
Yeah,
not getting the major that I wanted to get into, but I got into digital art and design, so that was the next best thing. And I feel like not getting into graphic design was the best thing for me, because I feel like digital art and design gave me more of a freedom to create. Because I feel like graphic design, even though I do graphic design, I think it's more like standardized.
Standardized, yeah.
It's more focused on a certain thing. But when I was in digital art and design, I was exposed to film, photography, animation, stuff like that. It's fun just to create. Just for me to be able to create freely. I feel like I had like a video project. It was like a video project. I did that last minute. I went outside like 5 minutes before class and then recorded audio. And that video actually went to we had like a junior exposition.
Yeah.
No, a jury exhibition for like students, and that my work and that video got into it. And that video got into one of my first shows after graduation. It was Overly Art Fest.
Yeah.
I won People's Choice Award for that video, and that was. And I don't think I would have done it if I would have gotten a graphic design major. And I feel like that has expressed my creativity with my abstract work too.
No, that makes sense. I like that you put that out there, because I go back to when I was in undergrad. Like, I wasn't in like IT, I wasn't in data and anything along those lines, even though that's what my day job is. And I didn't have any background in communication. I was just a business major, but I wanted something that was broad enough that if I wanted to, I had the foundation. If I wanted to do a bit more, I could do a minor in that or pursue roles that require that, because ultimately you're going to be trained and you're going to learn and so on. And yeah, I think being able to have something broad versus something that's specialized, like, I'm sure there's a lot of money in doing accounting. You could do someone's taxes or all of that different stuff. But, what's your marketing background? What's the creative side of that? Or, I think having and this is just my personality and how it aligns, having a more overarching sort of umbrella view of things. Be like, oh, I can manage this whole thing, and then find the right people to take care of the marketing, find the right people to take care of the accounting, but know enough that I can hire the right person or bring in the right person. I think it's important. And I think you did that from the artist perspective of not purely going into graphic design. You can learn and be self-taught, and it's not to diminish that, but it's, one of those things where having something that's broader and you can build at your leisure, that kind of other skill set that complements what you want to do ultimately as a creator.
That's true. That's true as well. And also not getting to that graphic design, I put a little chip on your shoulder.
Oh, 100%.
Like, yeah, I didn't get into that. Okay, I can.
I like I said earlier when I was doing the comics, I didn't get into the School of Arts.
Hey.
I
would say it push you to do.
And all I do is talk to artists. How's that working out?
Don't full circle.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to wrap up on some rapid fire questions for you. I think these are going to be interesting. I think you're going to like these.
Yeah.
So I got 5 of them for you. They're ridiculous. They're all over the place, but brevity is key. Don't overthink them. As it relates to your work, I'm going to start off with the one that feels closest to the kind of interview portion. As it relates to your work, what rule do you like to break the most? Like, you have these kind of like systems that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Of this is how you're supposed to do this. This is not how you do this. This is the color wheel, all of that different stuff, right? What's a rule that you're like, you can't do it that way? You're like, I'm going to break that rule. Tell me about that.
Oh man, it's a tough one. I guess when I make black and white work.
Okay.
I guess when I do that, I break out the color up. Like certain pieces, I'm like, they can do good in color, but I think it will look better in black and white. And I guess that's one of the rules I break.
No, I dig it. It's like, look, this is my work. This is how it's going to be. I like that.
Thank you.
What is something that you like to collect?
That's another one. I don't really collect much now, but when I was younger, I was trying to collect all 50 states of the quarters.
I was trying to do that too. Yeah. And then I started spending them.
And actually, that turned into a life lesson because I was like, I ain't never gonna collect all 50 states. And my parents was like, you can't, don't give up on that. Don't give up.
Yeah.
And make sure just don't say you can't do it. So that turned to a hobby like that turned to a life lesson. So
I would imagine you probably had that period where you collected Pokemon cards too, because I know I was doing that.
Yeah, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh yeah. Because I'm an old person, I used to collect G.I. Joe cards. Yeah.
G.I. Joe cards. Oh.
Yeah. I'm 37, so it's gonna be you're gonna be reaching like, what are those again?
We're only about 7 years away, so
it's the same. G.I. Joe was old when I came along, so right there you go. It's like,
my dad was in G.I. Joe.
Oh snap. Okay. Crunchy or creamy? See, that should be an easier one, I think.
I'll say crunchy.
All right. What kind of jelly with the crunchy?
Oh man. Earlier I had some apple jelly.
Oh, okay. I mean, I see. Here's the thing. when it comes to me switching between the types of peanut butter, right? As I get on my high horse of peanut butter politics, as I like to call it, okay. I like to do creamy with like grape jelly, right? But I like to do crunchy with like strawberry jelly or raspberry jelly. Yeah. All
right, try that.
I'm one of those guys.
I don't really do creamy with strawberry, grape, with or apple.
Yeah.
I never tried crunchy.
Are you apple butter guy?
Yes. If my father hit his podcast, he ate apple butter. He hated it.
My dad put me on apple butter. He was like, look, he's like, put a little dollop of apple butter in your cream of wheat. I was like, yo. I was like, this is some black Southern nonsense right here.
So you been hooked ever since?
Huh?
You been hooked ever since then?
Absolutely. 100%. It's either that or it has to be some type of apple thing. This is literally a thing for my dad. It would be either apple butter, a dollop of that if you have it. And if you don't, apple sauce in the cream of wheat, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you don't have to make it super sweet with all of the sugar and stuff. It's like you let the apples do the work.
Oh, cool.
So this is the last one I got for you.
All right.
This is going to be like picking a kid. It's hard.
Oh, more.
Warm or cool colors? Which one is like your preferred?
Don't do this to me.
I know. Oh. Sorry. It's like someone asking me mono or stereo.
So, man, I'll go with cool.
Of course, because you're a blue guy. You like blue. I was waiting for you to contradict yourself.
I was about to go warm because I'll be seeing the warm colors. They be calling to me.
They keep calling me.
They keep calling me.
But I will say it's cooling down. So like, and I remember I was trying to explain to somebody like the idea, because I think sometimes color, like you'll get some people that kind of don't get it. Like, what's a warm color? Colors don't have a temperature. And it's like, no, what do you think of? What's the feeling that's associated with it? Like, I was explaining that through the nose, like, switching up colognes when the temperature changes, right? And I was like, what's a warm like thing? I was like, you start thinking of cinnamon, you start thinking of these kind of things that have like a little oomph to it. Like you think of whiskey and things of that nature. I was like, those are warm things, and they happen to be brown, which is a derivative of red.
That's a good way of looking at it.
I try.
You got that creative mind, man.
It's it's falling apart, but I'm here. So with that, I want to thank you for popping on here on this. We're doing this on a Monday, so I appreciate you making the time. We got it. And I want to invite and encourage you to tell the fine folks, the listeners, where to check you out, your work, website, all of that good stuff. The floor is yours.
Again, thank you again for having me, Rob. And you can find me on Instagram at Darren Designs 19, and my website is DarrenDesignsArt.com.
Say I have it, folks. I want to again thank Darren Thompson Jr., Darren Designs for coming on to the podcast. And I'm Rob Lee, saying that there's art, culture, just people doing good stuff, and color. Always the colors. And around Baltimore, you just got to look for it.